Hello and welcome back everyone. So in this episode we're going to make this black piece right here, and compared to what we've been working on, this should be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to grab this face, Shift D to duplicate and drag it down, and then I'm going to hit P and separate selection, tab into object mode, grab the new object and tab back into edit mode, and I'm just going to resize it and kind of place it over the black area. Alright, so now in edit mode, Control Tab and go into vertex selection. I'm going to take these two vertices and move them over to there. Move this one down. Control Tab to create a ring loop. Do that twice and then bring these two up. And it'll make it a bit easier to see if I hide everything else. So I'm going to hit A to select everything in object mode. Shift right click on this guy to deselect, and then H to hide. And I suppose we also could have done that by just selecting this object and then hitting the slash key. So that focused on our selection. Now I'm going to hit Control R, create an edge loop, and move these out. Alright, so that gave us the general shape. Now I'm going to hit A and E and lock this into the middle. And now we want to clean up the interior face, so I'm control tabbing into face selection, and I'm just going to grab all these faces, X, and delete faces. And then A and Control N to correct those normals. Alright, so next I think we should bevel these edges. I'm also going to grab the whole top piece and bring it up. And I think for this bevel, I'm first going to try going the whole way around the outside. And I'll do that in edge selection mode. So I've got the whole outer edge. And I'm going to do it in wireframe view to about there. And that did not work on this bottom layer because we have these extra pieces here. We don't actually need this interior edge, so I think I can just dissolve this. Dissolve edge, and yeah, that's fine. Dissolve edge. Alright, so now one more time, grab the ring. So I'm just going to Alt right click around it. Z, Control B. And I missed one here. Alright, so the next step is to make this cutout piece here. And for that, I think we can just do some very simple extrusion. I'm going to hit Control R and create a edge loop here. And then for the lower one, we can just use this piece. And there's enough geometry here now that I don't actually have to create any more vertices to get this rounded corner. It's a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is grab all these faces on the top and extrude them one time. And I guess we might as well do it on the side as well. So I'm just going to hit E and then left click and then S to scale in. And I only want to scale in a tiny bit on the Z axis as well as a tiny bit on the Y axis. And when I do that, I think I'll do it relative to the individual origins. So SY ever so slightly. And actually, why don't we just not move it at all? Now I'm control selecting around this ring. And now we should be able to just, I'm just trying to create a small gap here. Like that. Bring that back in. Alright, now we can grab these. And it got a little wonky right up here. That's better. Alright, so now I'm going to grab these faces and extrude inward. E to extrude, and just kind of move in and down. Now that I'm looking at it, it also seems like this face looks too flat. There is a little bit of shadow right here, so this part should kind of depress into the weapon. Like this part is further out, and this part is further in. So I'm going to create another wing loop here, like so, and move all of these vertices down. SZ0. Move this up. SZ0. Move it up. Alright, so now we've got sort of a crack here that it can bend on. It's going to have trouble bending right here. So we can just move this up. Alright, so now we should be able to move these out if we need to. I think I'll bring this out slightly and then bring this part in slightly. we don't want to have these faces selected when we do that. Alright, so that got us closer. I'm going to try to dissolve this vertex, and that did not work the way I wanted it to. Why don't we try dissolving these two edges? That's better. And same thing again here. Dissolve edges. Alright, and now it looks to me like we shouldn't actually see this interior face here. There's no beveling on this edge. It's just, it's like a little bit angled here. Like this is one triangle, and then this is a face, and this is a face. We shouldn't see this internal area. So what I'm going to do is go back into side view and just move this down, like so. And then this can come down as well. And I think we can join it with this second vertex here, so why don't we try that? So that'll be W merge at last. W merge at last. And I think we can do that with this one as well. W merge at last. Alright, so now if we look at it from the side view, I think we're closer. Now we don't need all these vertices, so we can just dissolve these. And since we've done so much dissolving, it's going to be hard to move this line around at all. One thing we can do is just subdivide it. And I know this has been kind of a messy process, but we're getting closer. W, subdivide, vertex selection mode. Grab this vertex, move it up. Alright, so now if we move the bottom part in more, I think this will look a lot more like it's supposed to. Alright, so one more time. Drag this in. And I'm going to clean this up. So dissolve these edges. And this actually happened when we extruded it earlier. So yeah, this has been a very messy process. So I'm just grabbing these edges and control right clicking to get a bunch of them at a time. And that's it. That's a double right there. Yikes. This is a disaster. So we're just going to keep cleaning this up until we're done. Alright, so clean that up. This should all be one face. Why don't we select everything, W, remove doubles. Okay, so that got 2 of them. Seems like there's still some weird nonsense going on. So there's definitely an issue here. We can delete these 2 vertices. Alright, so now we're able to get that whole ring at least. Control right click, face, control right click, face, alt right click, face. Alright, so that's cleaned up finally. Not sure why this was so high. Alright, so now if we hit the slash key or alt H, depending on how you hit the rest of the model, we get everything back. I'd say that looks pretty damn good. It took us a little while to get here, but that's fine. We learned how to clean up the geometry a little bit better, and we got a shape that is very complicated and also appealing to look at. So great job if you followed along this far. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.